This one we're doing not as a, we're not going to be rude. We're not going to be the typical, jeering, laughing, the show that we normally are, because I think this is a very, Kyle's having a hard time with this one. This is one that we have to take pretty darn seriously. And you know how much we like to throw other words out there. That's not going to happen on this one, because it needs to be, this needs to be something that somebody can look back on, share with other people, let other friends and family be able to see something like this in the future, that kind of thing. And
right.
So there is a young creationist.
Young gentleman.
That goes by the name of Guzman 1611. And this person, he went onto our channel a long while back, and I had no idea this person existed until they did the whole debate me thing.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't work. No, we're not going to.
Young man, we're not going to debate you. We're grown adults. I'm not speaking down to you, but the thing is that that's inappropriate for an adult to do, to take on a child like that. That's just inappropriate.
Yes. So he has a video that he put on his channel earlier this week called Bill Nye's Stupidity to Support Evolution.
Okay, so I already feel like he's coming from a place of ignorance, so I want to hear what he's talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to let it play. Here we go. He plays a clip from one of the Bill Nye the Science Guy videos from a long time ago, so here we go.
Video about Bill Nye the Stupid Guy's stupidity to support evolution.
Well, that's not
a good way to start.
Not a good way to start something, that further hints in the future, like, let it speak for itself and then come in with your commentary. Don't front load it like that, because
because now you're already priming your audience to what they should think, and if you're trying to be convincing, a good way to do it is to evaluate the ideas they present.
Yes, because you're going to get somebody that comes in as like us, that when we find this video, and we're going to come in there and look at it, and it's like, when you're automatically stating that Bill Nye is stupid and the evolution is stupid, it's like, without you giving us any other information.
We're gonna. You're losing.
Say that after
you're losing every part of your audience. You're losing the people who have questions about evolution, and you're losing people who are convinced of evolution, and you're losing people who are completely unconvinced of evolution, because they've all heard. Now they know what you're going to say, and they have nothing to learn or gain.
Right, you're only speaking to an audience you've already convinced, or not that's already convinced. So
people might wonder who specifically we're talking about in the audience here. Matt Powell, official, is one of the people that commented on this. This is good work, because they're backing. It feels good, Guzman. I know it does. I know it feels good to have these people that you look up to come to you and say you're doing good work. Yeah, you're doing God's work. You're doing this.
Cool.
Well, and right now what we're talking to you about is format. Right now, we're not even addressing your ideas. Right now, we're talking about format. This is something that my mother taught me a long time ago about essay writing and how to present ideas and how to communicate things. It's not that you're not ambitious, and it's not that you're undedicated to hard work. You clearly are. You put out a lot of information and you put out a lot of videos, so you clearly are dedicated to doing the work, and you're a passionate young child. And that passion can be really good. So I'm not disparaging you as a child, and I'm not going to say that you don't have qualities that are admirable. But when we're talking about introducing a video, maybe let people hear about it a little bit before you start calling it stupid.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Here's the clip.
Watch this.
So take a look at this. It's a picture of my parents, and I'm going to make a photocopy of it. Watch. See, the copy looks just like the original, but not exactly like it. There are some small differences, because there's some small changes that happen every time you make a copy. The same thing happens when living things make copies of themselves, like when they have children.
Okay, so before we even let him get started with it,
by the way, I remember this segment from childhood.
Oh, sure,
And it didn't convince me of evolution because I've been talked about evolution for years and years. But I did think about like, are copiers that bad at their jobs? And I thought about that a lot. I thought about copiers being really bad at their jobs.
Well, if you would have taken that copy, put it back on the glass, copied it again, it would have exaggerated certain parts and, lightened up certain parts. And if you take that copy, put it on there, make a copy, it can get really messed up really quickly. And it will look like a mess eventually. It'll eventually look like just a bunch of black blotches on a piece
Which is the point Bill Nye was making.
Sure. It's in an incredibly, toned down way. And that's an incredibly simple. Yeah. I mean, that's the audience. That's who he was formatting this for.
I was probably about Guzman's age when that came out.
So. Right.
Yeah, I was younger, but I watched the shit about this.
All right, here we go.
Bill Nye. Well, you can have a picture of a rock and make copy and copy and copy and copy and copy and copy and keep on copying it. It won't get you to a human.
Well, no, you can't.
Okay, he did say, this is the critique here.
Uh-huh.
You did say take a rock and make a copy, but you also said take a picture of a rock.
Yes.
Right.
Copies of it.
So he's coming from some clearly fundamental misunderstandings of these things.
Sure.
So so first of all, Guzman, I don't know what your first name is, so I'm going to just call you that. No one's saying people came from rocks. I want to make that really clear, is that no one's saying that we are rocks, that rocks were replicated and then us. That's not what we're saying.
No, that's a
straw man.
It's not only a straw man, it's a false premise. A rock is inorganic, so it's
right. So we're talking
evolution
about
deals primarily in organic material,
right?
And it deals in things that already exist.
Right.
Evolution does not talk about abiogenesis, which you seem to be talking about, where something is replicated and then life occurs.
Right. What you wanted to say was take a picture of a fish and copy it and copy it and copy it and copy it, and you're not going to get a picture of a human.
But
that's the argument that you wanted to make.
If that's the apologetic that you want to go with, yes, that would be the better apologetic.
That would be the better apologetic. Yes.
But
still wrong. It's still a false analogy, but at least then you would still be within the same
realm of existence. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So we're not talking about rocks. Rocks are a fascinating thing. And abiogenesis, which is the emergence of life, is a fascinating topic. And you're right to be curious about it. You really are.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask any atheist worth their salt, especially YouTube atheists like we are,
or scientists,
yes, scientists are going to be the ones that know more about this stuff than we do. We are armchair scientists, You
should talk to a biologist.
Mm-hmm.
And about abiogenesis, and you should talk to a biologist about how life functions. Please engage these people. Just do. Like, we're just going to kind of give you hints into these things, and hopefully give you questions.
Sure.
Just questions to ask. That's all we want to do.
So I'm going to let him speak some more so we can move this along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can make thousands, millions. I'll give you whatever big amount of photos. It will never end up looking like a human. Sure, it might look like a weird-shaped rock.
Okay. However, if we're talking about distortion within photocopies, it's all interpreted by the eye of the beholder, though. That's the thing,
right?
And therefore, it actually could very much end up resembling what we think of as a human form, especially culturally.
Sure.
Guzman, look up Rorschach tests.
Look up Rorschach tests, but also look up analogy, because that's what this was. It was an analogous example.
it was not meant to be literal. It was meant to be an example of how things can change through copies.
When he took a photocopy, it didn't automatically go to the next generation in there. And when he didn't like take a photocopy of that one so he could have his grandkids in there, it's one of those things where it's like you guys said, an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was you're right. It was an analogy not for
analogy about
not for speciation, but for genetic mutation.
For mutation
every time.
Yeah. For change.
Because when you unzipper DNA and you have it go through cellular mitosis, which you're probably about the age where you're going to start learning the parts of the cell in biology classes, which is a really fascinating thing. The organelles that are inside cells are amazing little things. Do we know where they all come from? No,
we don't. And we're not going to tell you. We're not going to give you answers.
No.
For things that we don't know, because we're gonna engage you intellectually, honestly. But I guarantee even Matt Powell agrees that mutation exists. Mutation happens in cells.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that Matt Powell would be that honest about it.
But let's not make it about him. But let's just say,
cancer.
Cancer is a mutation in a cell.
Right. I've never met a creationist who does not acknowledge mutation.
Yeah. So let's see what he's going to say.
Sure, you can have a rock that has points in the rock that look like eyeballs, but no, or a mouse or a nose. It's not going to look like a human. You can't prove anything through that stupid way that Bill Nye explained.
He wasn't attempting proofs.
Right.
He was attempting
was not a proof.
What he was attempting was to explain the function of change. That was not evidence of evolution. That wasn't evidence of evolution at all.
Yeah, it was a single analogy. Okay. Yeah.
So please, like Kyle said before, please investigate what analogy looks like.
So when I'm going to assume that he probably knows a bit about how biology works as far as children being created. I'm not going to say specifically, but when one set of DNA meets another set of DNA and they combine within that first flash of whatever happens in the egg. I don't know the scientific terms for it all, but I'm just saying that when they finally combine, you have the genetics from one being and the genetics from another being coming together, and there are certain genes that are going to be dominant, certain genes are going to be recessive, ones that are going to work, the other ones are not going to work. You can have a fatal genetic flaw within your DNA that doesn't get activated until a certain time much later in life, kind of thing. It's stuff we're all struggling to learn how to figure out.
I have a good instance just in my own family. I'm not a natural redhead, just to be clear. Because he may not have, I think he's seen me before, but I want to kind of clarify that. My sister was born from two parents with brown hair, and she came out with orange red hair. And so you see, these two DNA sections came together, and a certain gene presented when another gene didn't. And she's not going to carry all the genes that my mother carried. She's not going to carry all the genes that my father carried, but she's going to carry some of both. And that's going to result in a different output than what both my parents had. And that just continues the cycle down.
Right. And do yourself a favor. Do a little bit of basic research on a Catholic, I believe he was Catholic, a Catholic monk named Gregor
Mendel. He was a Catholic monk, yes.
Yes.
The father of genetics.
Yes. Yes.
And he did this by crossbreeding beans, wasn't it?
Beans and peas.
Yeah. It was peas. Yeah. It was sweet peas. It was sweet peas specifically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's also Guzman, where you can find information about how we have done things through agriculture to make a lot of the plants that we use and enjoy more fruitful.
Right.
For instance, corn. Natural corn, wild corn is inedible, but through specific selections by people, cultivation, we were able to grow corn that we can eat.
Right.
And that is us as humans deciding, I'm going to take this species of corn, breed it with this species of corn, so that hopefully their offspring has this desired effect.
Right.
And continuing to do so throughout the existence of that as a plant.
And
It's
now
happened with bananas, it's happened with broccoli,
Right.
it's happened with grapes, it's happened with everything that we enjoy modern, like agriculturally. It's something that has happened that we've had a hand in.
You brought up a great example, broccoli. Broccoli is from the same wild plant that is Brussels sprouts
and cabbage.
But we can't combine their genetics anymore.
Yeah.
We can't combine their genetics at all to create a new plant. Now they're completely new species. And that's what we call speciation.
Mm-hmm.
Speciation means that you cannot mix that one species with a different one anymore and have viable offspring, is what that means.
Viable meaning reproduce themselves.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't mean to speak down to you. I'm just saying there's a lot of terms that we're throwing out here, and I understand that you might not be familiar with a lot of them. And that's okay. Like, there's a lot. We've all been to college. Like, we've all been through this. So I don't know what words we've been exposed to or not. So I just want to be clear in what we're saying.
Well, we know he knows the word stupid. I'm just poking a little bit of fun there. Try a thesaurus. Look for other words to describe what you think it's a negative thing.
Inept is a good word.
Bad. Bad works in some ways. Just don't try, because we've heard this word about 4 times now through this video, and it's just
that's another writing note is use different words to express your ideas to give a clearer idea, a more rounded idea of what you're trying to express.
Okay, he's about finished up here.
In that clip, so it just shows you that how it just gives you a new meaning of professing themselves to be wise. They became fools. The fool has said there is no God.
He didn't say anything about
no. That's a leap.
Yeah, that wasn't discussing the existence or non-existence of God. That was just discussing the nature of life. That was just
now. Are you
how life functions? That's all it was discussing.
Now, are you basing this entire argument off of what was it, like less than 30 seconds of a clip?
And it was talking about essentially, like you said, mutation happening, from parent to child, kind of thing. The people that believe in evolution aren't believing in evolution in an effort to disprove God. We're not doing that.
The vast majority of people who believe in evolution believe in God. So
that's fair. I'd say that's fair.
Yeah, that's So we are atheists on this show. That's true. We don't believe in the existence of God. But when I did believe in God, I still believed in evolution. So to say that evolution disproves God, I'm not, and that's not why people believe in God anyway. So, let's not. When you're talking,
they should be non-overlapping items there.
Yeah. So when you are trying to address an idea, try to stick to a singular topic in that idea.
Yeah, stay on target.
And we fail at this all the time.
We fail all the time.
Perfect. We're not perfect.
No,
I'm not saying that we're perfect or that we're great teachers at this, but these two things are not connected in any way. It's what we call a non sequitur.
You took a molehill and created a mountain out of it, but the mountain is built on a faulty foundation to begin with. So therefore, your argument is not cogent. It doesn't work. It's not going to follow through because it's, like Felicia said, a non sequitur. So
non sequitur meaning it does not follow.
Yeah. So anyway, he's got a little bit left.
Science falsely so called. So
that's a plug for Matt Powell's movie right there. He's making a movie called that.
Oh no, don't.
And what else? He's going to say something else.
Don't be deceived, folks. The Bible says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Do not be deceived by these people. Their ways to explain evolution are stupid because the theory itself is stupid.
So
no, you're saying it, but you're not.
You're not engaged
showing it. You're not demonstrating it.
Yeah, there's a concept in art or in persuasion called show don't tell. you need to show us how evolution fails. You haven't done that. What you've done is you've shown us a bad analogy of an analogy. So Bill Nye was using an analogy of taking a picture of his parents and then photocopying the copy and then photocopying the copy and it being distorted a long time. And then you used an analogy of his analogy. And I know it's getting a little confusing, but I think you got it. I think you're a smart enough kid. You got this. That using a rock won't look like a person. So that just like Bill Nye's analogy is not proof of evolution, your analogy isn't a disproof of evolution. You haven't shown us how it's stupid. You haven't shown us how it's false. And trust me, everyone is interested if you can show it's false. So please actually engage with the actual ideas. Just start, like we said, from cellular mutation. Just go to cellular mutation.
Sure. Or to put it another way, your argument was, see this rock? This rock is not a chicken.
It'll never be a chicken.
We agree. We actually agree that a rock will never be a chicken.
Sure. And if you photocopy a picture of a rock, it will never be a photocopy. You won't get a picture coming out as a person. Unless it was a person-shaped rock to begin with, but
then it's still not a person. It's still not an image of a person. Right. We agree. We agree on that point. So please just start engaging with the actual ideas. Again, we would like you to start with the concept of mutation. Right. And Gregor Mendel and his P's is a great place to start.
Sure.
And please disprove them as much as you can. We'll listen and we'll respond back.